Welcome, one and all, to, if my show notes are correct, which they should be, episode 10 of my Behind the Screen series. Technically season 2, season 1 was D&D stuff. It was not on this channel, so don't go looking for it on this channel. I am Comrade Bubbles, or Ryan, whichever you prefer. I am a fan. Onyx Path are just giving me the platform to do this from. And hopefully, obviously, increase engagement with their games and content. If you enjoy whatever you see today, all of the older material is on my YouTube channel. It's Comrade Bubbles. Apart from last week's, because that was a special and subs get a week's exclusivity. So as soon as I'm done here, I will upload there. By there, I mean my YouTube channel. Assuming that the video is fine and nothing breaks. Anyway. So standard disclaimers apply, really. The first one you may is more important, I guess, in that I'm still sort of suffering with the cough I had last week. It's a lot better than it was, but it does keep sneaking up on me. I will, like last week, try to mute my microphone while I'm doing that. Sorry, I just wanted to check something. Just because coughing on stream doesn't sound great, obviously. So that's what that's all about. I apologize. I misclicked trying to click my stream chat window open and hit the users in chat button. So if that actually appeared, which it did, truly sorry about that. Did not mean to do that. I don't know why I went all the way to the top to click in the window. I guess I could have clicked at the bottom, but there we go. So yeah, my name's Ryan. I'm disabled. I do experience muscle spasms. I do twitch. I do stutter. I do stammer. I do slur my speech occasionally. I apologize for all of that if it's disquieting. If it's disquieting or makes any of this hard to follow, I will try to repeat myself when the whatever it is passes. It shouldn't happen too much. It hasn't happened yet, but if it does, I just want everyone to be aware of that. And I do struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I will try to finish one train of thought before going on to another. That's that sorted. As usual, I'm going to do the links plug at the start. Silicon Path will be flagging the usual links about Scion content and the Storypath Nexus. A large percentage of Onyx Path, the Onyx Path team, are at Milwaukee Con or something. Hang on, I've got the actual thing. Where did it go? There we go. Midwinter Convention in Milwaukee. So if you have any questions for them, they might be a bit slow at replying. But as ever, if you need to know any kind of project updates or anything going on in the world of Onyx Path, there's your Monday meeting notes for the week. I have noticed that the cough is less severe now, but it happens more often when I'm talking, so that's annoying. Monday meeting notes obviously just give you an update on how Onyx Path is doing on the week and kind of going forwards with project updates and whatnot. As part of that, somewhere down here, you know what? I'll just go to my notes. I've got the link copied in my notes. Not those notes, you idiot. These notes. I'm a professional. You can tell. As part of that, progress continues apace on the Cult of the Blood God Kickstarter for 5th edition Vampire the Masquerade. I will, read the blurb and stuff for that at the end, but just be aware that's still going on. You can still back that for previews and all of that good stuff. There are links to several podcasts and interviews and things about that in the Monday meeting notes anyway. But that's that. I think so far that's everything I need to talk about. Back to my show notes. Okay, so far over the 9 weeks now, about 18 hours, probably close to 19 with the amount of overrunning I've done. I've given you a general outline of introductory games. I should never really have more than 3 scenes in mind. If you get a bit more, that's fine. It works out. But if you're doing a one-shot, 3 is a nice length. With one scene being a low-stakes scene that gives people... introductory one-shots. One scene being low stakes, giving your players the chance to get to grips with the world, with the mechanics they might not necessarily be familiar with, all of that good stuff. A scene where they can explore, and engage with the setting, find out what makes that setting unique compared to other games, and then a big climax to wrap everything up. And give you good memories and want them to keep coming back for more. So that is how I've approached writing an introductory chronicle to Scion 2nd edition, which will go up on Storypath Nexus as a pay what you want model, with much thanks to the Onyx Path Twitch community, included prominently, probably like the front page, because I couldn't do this without you because of the ideas that you've all been giving me and stuff, and it's been extremely satisfying to create this with you and to show you the process. Obviously, I'm nowhere near finished. So far, I've got an outline, one introductory scene for each character, for each of the pre-gens, with something to connecting them all together. And then the past few weeks, we've been building the group introductory scene for player groups who might not be happy with the idea of having spotlight scene on the character. This is one where all the characters are together. They can interact with each other, get to know each other maybe. But just a chance to experience what your character does in the downtime, and kind of how the game can deal with downtime activities that aren't just straight up relaxing. So it's the Black and Crimson Food Festival. I believe last week I realized I typed Red and Crimson. Touring Festival run by a known Scion of Asia Legbara and is a celebration of life, good food, and family. Tells the country, brings joy to many people. Within its gates, music is heard, fun is had, and stories are told. And then within the festival, there are a few areas that we created. Music area, with a couple of things in it. Food area, games area, quiet area, a storytelling stage. And then after the PCs have had a chance to kind of get to grips with... after the players have had a chance to get to grips with the characters, with how dice rolling works. Had a chance to think about what their character does, kind of for downtime activities. Then a gang attacks the festival, and there are some downtime activities. Yeah. Yes, I'm on the right window. So that's that. And then last week, 31st, which was usually my off week for anyone who's curious about why I streamed then, it was just I was free to stream, and Onyx Path, obviously a lot of the regular content, a lot of the weekly shows are on hiatus over the festive break, so I was like, I can do something. Do you want me to? And they said yes, so I did. So last week we... sorry, one sec. Last week we started writing the action bit to end up that scene, treating each of those different areas as different zones, and created some stat blocks for antagonists, namely the Inked gang members, complete with a custom poison, and their boss. This is here in case I decide I need another stat block, but cursor is being captured. I probably won't, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's what we did last time. And then we kind of define the first field of the music area. So I realized somewhere there needs to be more than one gang member per field, per player, because they only have a health of 1. So kind of mooks are designed to be a numerous kind of mini threat, in that you can easily take out a whole swarm of mooks by yourself. This is not a particularly high-stakes scene. I'm not trying to kill the characters in the scene, so that's not going to be a problem. But still want more than one gang member. So let's go with 3. They're not primarily there to kill the players. I need to make some grammatical errors. Grammatical correction, sorry. I made a grammatical error. 3 gang members in each field per player character, with boss being present in the field, most player characters. There you go. But they're not trying to kill the player characters. They're there to cause chaos. So music area, gang members in this field will flee after destroying a number of tents equal to the number of player characters present in the field multiplied by 2. I'm going to put minimum of... Actually, if there's no one in there, then I don't need a minimum value, because that just happens and it's a random number. Okay, right. Well, that's that. So I'm expecting by the end of this stream to do these 4 fields and get started on the second scene. If not, obviously it's no big deal. I'll just do it next time. But I'm expecting to get through these remaining 4 fields. Fortunately, I have to go to work now. Hope to catch you later on the channel. Well, thank you, JC Lepf, J Klepf. I will, as I upload everything to YouTube, Comrade Bubbles afterwards. I hope you enjoy it. I hope work goes well. But thank you for tuning in for the opening 20 minutes or so. Do appreciate the support. Okay, so food area. This is also going to be full of people, but this is more full of people watching eating competitions / waiting for food / eating food. All of the tables and chairs in this area count as, right, I just want to check, but I believe it's called expendable cover. That's the hero book. That's not the book I need. And I don't need that like that. So where was it? Was it here? Or was it story path system? I think it was story path system actually. Actions. Utilize cover. Cover expendable, light, heavy, or full. Yes, expendable. Count as expendable cover. There are as many tables and chairs as needed. In fact, there are so many tables and chairs even. There are so many tables and chairs that the field, the entire field, is classified as difficult terrain. Stop opening Hero, you idiot. Open Origin. Yes, difficult terrain. Although, move is reflexive. No, it's pretty. I'm envisaging it as a pretty kind of clustered area with plenty of. I talk with my hands, so sorry if I hit the mic. Plenty of clustered tables and chairs and things for people to get caught up on, and the crowd's obviously going to cause problems anyway. So, difficult terrain. There are so many tables and chairs, as well as panicking members of the crowd. The entire field is classified as difficult terrain. Let's use this field to highlight terrain options. I don't know why gang members is randomly capitalized up here. Oh, right, yeah, because of the stat block entry. Let's do this. Gang members in... Oh. No bold. Bad. In this field will flee after causing number of fires equal to... That is nowhere close. I spell the word equal. Equal to... You might see a theme with these numerical values. Multiplied by 2. A fire is caused after a barbecue, stove, grill, comma, etc. is knocked over as a Oh, let's go with a 2D action. Let's have a slight rider to that. Ooh, let's say that the crowd can provide a complication of up to 2 based on the SG's discretion. Oh, I'll change that to add the SG's discretion, but there we go. At the store guy's discretion. Technically speaking, this should be typed out, but I think it makes more sense to be a numerical value. And each firer counts as, let's not say a barrier because it's not a solid object. Let's give it a, I think this is dangerous terrain, right? Yeah, dangerous terrain. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Games area. So that's where all of these things are happening. Again, the crowd is going to be a problem for heroes. What are the gang trying to achieve? So they're trying to cause chaos by setting fire. They're trying to cause chaos by destroying tents. Games area. What would they be doing? I guess they could be stealing the prizes. I don't want to just be destroying stuff in every area because that's just boring. So stealing prizes, stealing cash boxes, that could work. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, games here have drawn quite a crowd. The game stalls have been set up in such a way that there is a series of narrow corridors in several rows between them, spread over several rows. I guess characters. That's not how you spell character. Characters in each corridor gain, we'll say light cover against ranged attacks from characters in another corridor. I don't want it to be a repeat of the music area is the thing. I want something unique in this area relating to the games, potentially. I guess it could just be that there's a lot of ammunition lying around and... Oh, that was what I meant to say. I had to sign for a package for one of my neighbors earlier, so I might have to go and answer the door to, give it to them at some point during the stream. That's what I wanted to say. I've said it. Continuing on. Yeah, it could just be that there's plenty of ammunition lying around for people who want to make thrown attacks. Yes, let's go with that. So, game stores themselves are a source of plentiful ammunition for thrown up. I'll just put it, or a source of or a plentiful source of thrown objects. Source of thrown objects. Any tag made with an object from a stall suffers from, let's say, 2C, to reflect the chance of throwing a soft toy. So it's just, you can grab anything, but it's slightly harder to grab the thing you need to deal damage with. A few of the stalls also have objects which could be used as improvised weapons. I'm just going to have a quick check to see if there's anything regarding improvised weapons. I don't think there is, but obviously it's always worth checking. Other combat actions. Complicate action. I'm just going to go to index, and then I'm going to go to check I for improvised, I guess. Oh, too far. Improvised is not there. What about weapons? So improvised is not a weapon tag. I'm going to type in this page number, but I do not expect it to correlate to the actual place. Oh, it did. So weapon tags are basically weapon qualities, if you're familiar with weapon keywords from other games. And they tell you what it does, how far you can, like its range, and what kind of damage it deals, that kind of thing. So I should probably actually give some weapon tags. Yes, I should do that. So well, it's not going to be armor. So let us merely finish this first. A few of the stalls which could be used improvised. I can't bother to figure out the circumflex alt code right now. With a complication of 1. I need to figure out how to correctly write that kind of information, but there we go. The thrown weapons have the following tags. Well, clearly thrown. Bashing. It's more like balls and things. Although I guess you could throw a plate as well. I'll put bashing or I don't know, piercings to punch through armor. Never mind. There's just bashing. Throw, bashing, and arcing, I think, works. Thrown, bashing, arcing. Yep. Again, I can't bother to figure out circumflex accents right now. The melee weapons have the following tags. Probably also bashing, let's be honest. You know, just because I like things being in alphabetical order. And I doubt I'm the only one. kind of get rid of all that stuff. So it'd be bashing. And melee. And then I'm thinking maybe reach, or like reach capital letters, or as in like it has this quality or this quality. Yes, we'll go with reach or two-handed. Two-handed isn't a benefit. You have to be wielding it two-handed to use it, but it's up to story guide discretion. The gang members in this field will flee after finding and stealing 2 difficulty. +1 complication because of the crowd. Oops, because of the crown. Yes, the king or queen is present at this fair, at this festival. Yeah, because of the crowd. A number of lock boxes with the game's earnings. Say it with me now, everyone. Equal to the number of player characters present in the field multiplied by 2. And there we go. Again, I can't be bothered to figure out ASCII codes or alt code for the circumflex E right now. I'll add that when I type this up properly. Well, I format this or format and layout, do all the layout for this. Quiet area. This is not going to have a crowd, unsurprisingly. So I just don't know what to do about this area. To be fair, could just have it that there is no particular field effect in this area. It's just a plain field to highlight the fact that you can just have plain fields. You don't have to have fancy special rules going on and stuff. Also, the camera angle is terrible. I might have to move my webcam because I can put it on top of my secondary monitor. I'll fix that later. Also means when I'm looking at chat, I'm kind of looking at the camera. And when I'm playing games on, yeah, anyway. It's a learning curve. Quiet area. There are a few people in this area and little to serve as cover or an obstruction. Also, it's telling me there's a grammatical error, but oh, no, they're off you. Whoops, they're off you. Or an obstruction. This field has no special properties. Oops. The gang members in this field incidentally, if anyone out there has thought of something that could apply in the quiet area, please do feel free to suggest it in chat. You'll be able to see your very own username and suggestion appear on the Twitch channel below my face. Twitch on the YouTube recording. There we go. So the Twitch channel is on the right and below my face. So there we go. Will flee after spending a number of initiative slots. You can probably guess the numerical value here. Equal to play character spent this film multiplied by 2. Defacing the tree. It takes their first, I think turn is the correct word. Where is it? Yeah, turn. To get to the tree. And an additional turn to flee. There we go. How that defacement happens, whether it's spray paint or carving stuff into the tree, that is entirely up to the story guide. I've also realized that if I do move my webcam, I won't be staring at my ring light when I'm trying to address the camera, which would also be a good thing. Okay, and then storytelling area. This is where it gets a bit weird because there is a scion in this area, and I don't want them to kind of steal the spotlight, although they are a sign of Elegbara. So how would I deal with this? And what do the gang want? Oh, the gang could be attacking the scion. Actually, that's an obvious one. A crowd has gathered around the storytelling stage. Listen to XXX as words. What else was in this area? Nope. Workshops for improvisation, storytelling, as well as a few publicity agents. Yeah. I go back to the cover idea. Light cover and expendable cover, maybe? With props that function as improvised weapons, kind of mix the three. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. The tents set up as workshop spaces can be used as light cover. Tables and chairs within them and scattered around count as expendable cover. And the props used in the workshops can be used as weapons. Using the tags provided above. Proved? It's not even... Okay, apparently I can't type when people aren't watching, so let alone when people are watching. Finding a usable prop requires a... Let's specify a role for this, shall we? I guess it'd be close combat or athletics. I think athletics is usually the kind of the thrown role. Or firearms. You are watching me be unable to type. Well, thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. I hope your flight has gone well or goes well later, whichever way around it is. Having people watch me be unable to type is a huge confidence boost. Let's say athletics / close combat. Even better. Firearms for ranged weapons. Thrown weapons. Oh, it's only 1.5 hour drive for you. Excellent. Well, I hope the drive goes well. All I know about America is it's big and things are spread out for thrown weapons, or close combat for melee weapons. Thank you for making the time to be here. Anyway, I do appreciate it. Roll. Big and dumb. My friend, I'd like to call you that. The soon-to-be not United Kingdom is pretty small and dumb right now, so... There we go. Oh dear. 1 second. Anyway, politics. What? Let's not talk about politics on this. This isn't my channel. I shouldn't bring politics into anything. Roll. As... Suffer in unity in our fascist cesspools. Yes, please. Oh, it's terrible. As usual, the attribute is left to player/SG discretion. Because again, this is all about introducing people to the mechanics, about teaching them that they can pick their own dice pools to some extent. It's such a good facet of the story path system. I said it right for once. I didn't say story guide system. Heck yeah. Anyway, the gang members in this field. The gang members in this field will flee after either defeating XXXX or half of their number is defeated. Right, I guess this means I need a stat block for the Scion. Why do I do this to myself? Happily, there is one in the rulebook that I'm going to adapt. Where have antagonists gone? There they have. I just have to find the right... Check them in the right PDF first. Whee! Strange folk, a she, sorcerers, satyrs, kitsune, centaur. I think I'm going the wrong way. I am going the wrong way. Sound might be in the hero book. It's in the hero book. Gosh darn it. Not legendary creatures. Oh, hang on. It might be. I thought there was a Scion stat block in one of these books. There we go. Basilisk, Daitengu, Hydra, Yutner, Kerberos Hounds, Nemeans, Scions. Here we go. I think there's only one example Scion. There is. Okay, this is a Nemesis level Scion. Oh no, there are two. What's a Nemesis? Also a Nemesis. Let's slide that there just so I can keep an eye on chat as well while I'm doing this. And then there's a zoom button somewhere. Okay, so we've got a Scion of Anansi. I don't need it Nemesis level. Let's just, so that's page 299. Go over here. Happily, I already have this. Where are they? Heroic archetypes. Foe. Let's do it as a foe. Because... Ooh, rival. Possibly rival. Because I don't think the... monstrous archetype really works in this instance. Bear with me while I explain the differences between the two, according to my understanding of them. I could just use the villain archetype, I suppose. No. I think I'll go with rival. Yeah, go with rival. So that when the if this character does crop up again and the player characters meet them, they're kind of like on an equal footing. Okay, so archetype. Rival. I'm going to put in brackets Scion Hero. But everything that will be needed to use this stat block will be included in the stat block. XXXX colon Scion of Elegbara. I need to set that to heading 3. So rival primary pool 9. That's a lot of dice. Primary pool 7. Desperation pool 5. Plug in the numbers into the template. 3, 3, 6. +2 enhancements for stunts other than inflicted damage. So what that means is, oh, there's the person whose package I have. 1 second. There we go. Make sure I'm centered-ish in the webcam. What was I saying? Yes, so +2 enhancement for stunts other than inflict damage. So I've covered enhancements before, but I'll recap. So you assemble your dice pool, you roll the dice, and as long as you get one, as long as you succeed at the action, enhancements count as extra successes, essentially. So what that means is that the rival archetype gains 2 kind of sort of automatic bonus successes, we'll say, bonus successes, to spend on stunts other than inflict damage. Stunts that aren't inflict damage are in Scion Origin, where the actual core rules are, but they are blinding, break up, grapple. I guess critical would work. Disarm, establish grapple, if you really want to invoke the grapple rules, you mad person. Feint, knockdown, trip, seize, shove, or sunder. Two bonus successes is a pretty big deal, considering most of these are 1 or 2 successes to use them. So it's pretty useful to have that. But that's its extras. Right, so as they are a Scion, we will need some flares. We need qualities at the drive to have a good time. That is what this person wants. They'll need flares as well. I've just realized if you only have 1 quality, it is a quality, not qualities. Okay, so where am I? Wrong chapter, you idiot. Qualities, there we go. I don't see them having an attack quality. Shroud might work. Shroud. Utility doesn't really make sense. Cage of Words, definitely. So social quality. Basically, it's more of a social test thing, but it's harder to influence them. And if you fail the roll, you get a condition as you try to figure out what they just said to you. Let's also... Let's have institutional disbelief. That just makes it harder for mortal institutions to interact with them in a meaningful way. Institutional disbelief. But let's give them a sandbag, so a negative quality. Maybe, if any of these make sense. They don't really make sense. Where'd that list of knacks go? Let's see if any of these make sense. Smoke and mirrors. But I'll... brackets. Knack. More clarification. Trickster knack. I'm assuming like Alec Barr is a trickster. Or has the trickster purview. Where's Arisha? There it is. It would be weird if it... yeah. If it didn't. Trickster. Okay, so now a couple of flares. Antagonists. Flares. See if any of these make sense. I'm expecting not to have an attack flare. But I could be surprised, so let's let us see. Dread gaze, no. Seeing red, no. Spray and pray, no. Selfless shield, no. Actually, yes. Flares. In brackets. Innocent bystanders count as allies. So whoever the sign is, they can interpose themselves to prevent harm being dealt to innocent bystanders. I think illusions. Illusions. Illusions, you fool. And that's probably going to be fine. Oh, right. Social stuff. I'm probably just going to give them Hypnotic Charm. Yeah. Hypnotic Charm. There is no area for scale. I'm trying to figure out if there should be like a social scale increase. Potentially. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I should save the scale stuff for the the big climax at the end. I think I'll do that. Get the rest of the mechanics sorted and then add the scale stuff at the end. Okay, what are the things like for... there are also higher level qualities and stuff in the hero book, but this is for people who have Origin. I've just included the fact that the rival is in Hero so that they're aware that it's in Hero, but everything that you need to run this Chronicle will be in this thing. I'm fairly sure that'll be fine. Anyway, what are the pools for these one? Yeah. Kind of boring, really. So, primary pool. Tell a good story. And silver-tongued and light-fingered. Secondary pool. Hang on, I've seen someone has posted in chat. What's on my sleeve is one of your faith pool descriptions. That is a great description. I like that. I assume that you encountered that in your own game. Sorry. That also has yeet into space. I knew something was missing here. Used it. Excellent. Excellent. I do like the going crazy with pool descriptions. Since you tend to run more often than not, I am in exactly that same boat. But, it is what it is. I also get paid to run games, so I can't really complain. I wish I got paid to run more Onyx Path games, but there we go. Nightbot's decided it's going to chime in as well. Excellent. Excellent. Anyway, secondary pool for a mysterious sound of Elegbara. Let's see. I feel like in the context of the scene, it would make sense to have a combat focus pool. But I don't see Scions of Elegbara as being combat focused characters. It is a perfect thing. Actually, Ivory Knight, do you mind if I use that as a secondary pool description? Looking out for the little guy. Which, for a Scion, is most mortal, let's face it. Also, I realize I shouted then. I'm truly sorry. But I'm going to take it. Thank you very much. This will be on YouTube, and your contribution will be recorded for posterity. What's up my sleeve? So there we go. Looking out for the little guy. You could argue is a self-defense thing, or acting in defense of other characters in terms of a combat pool. If you did want to say anything, I wanted to check. I believe in checking for things like that extremely clearly. Let's just move that window so I can see it while I'm checking PDFs. Extras. Is there a list of extras? I don't believe there is, but I could be wrong. Flare's another trace by default, of course. Oh, of course. Do I want to add an extra one? I might. Defending cult members or something if they get to following is perfect. Exactly, that was my point. Because to me, a trickster shouldn't, most of the time, won't have that combat focus. But in the context of this scene, I want to be able to have that option if the story guide wants it. If they want to just start rolling dice against themselves. What was I checking? That's what I was checking. Archetypes. Oh, okay. So it's just extra qualities, really. Are there any rival qualities that I want? Diplomythic immunity. Which is a great... It has such good mouthfeel to say diplomythic. Anyway. I don't think so. I think that base 2E stunts for other than inflict damage. Kind of... maybe... Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. Anyway. I'm going to stop looking very shortly so I can move on and there's progress. Foe is just a professional. I've only just realised it just has a lower health and defense pool. You can tell how much attention I pay when I'm reading these books sometimes. Anyway. Oh, Titan Spawn. I think I'm good unless there are any additional qualities. There we go. Let's say Honor Bound. Just to mix it up a little more than anything. Give a bit of extra flavour to the stat block beyond the default. Okay, so that's that sorted out. They have health, they have defenses, they have a way of defending themselves. Let's see. I need something that... What did I do here? Because I want something that gives the players something to interact with rather than just this fight. So, let's have collateral damage be a thing. Control B. The gang members only need... Let's lower it to 2S to use the Yeet into Space stunt. Stoonie. Against bystanders and objects in this field. Once a bystander... how to phrase this? I will use this snat to take out bystanders and break tenants, tents, tables, etc. On their way to XXXX. There we go. So the players can any player characters present in the scene could opt to help look after the bystanders to minimize the collateral damage, or to go and help. Sorry, I don't know where that H went. It just disappeared. Go and help the Scion with the problem. So I think that's the introductory scene done. I think I've got the fields defined, each of them trying to highlight a different aspect of the rules for action scenes. I've got a selection of games and activities that players can take part in. I was going to add a note to one of these. I can't remember which one. I was going to add a design note to. Here it was. No, I was going to add a design note here. The Scion is underpowered compared to other example Scions found in Scion. Hero to avoid the scene unnecessarily focusing on them. VTM question: Clan of the Sombra heart removal trick. Can you hide it in a dead family member? I am not qualified to answer that question. I am sorry. I have not even got the Chicago by Night stuff, which I believe has the Sombra in it. You'll have to ask around. 1 second. I guess Reddit might be a good place to ask that. I truly am sorry I can't answer that question. Base VTM stuff I'm fine with. It's just the the Discord would be a good place to ask that also. I will just do this. There you go. If you have a Discord account, that's the link to the Discord. You just have to scroll quite a way down, but there is a VTM channel in the Discord for you to check, where hopefully someone can answer your question. I'm sorry that I cannot off the top of my head. Silence on the power compared to other examples I found Scion here to avoid the scene unnecessarily focusing on them. If they reappear, consider building them as a... How is it Scion underpowered? Okay, so consider building them as a Nemesis archetype or using a full character sheet. The Scions in... My phone is ringing. I do not have the time to answer it right now. The Scions in Scion Hero, which I will just do this. It's way easier. Whoop. I think it's that window. There we go. And then we go to example antagonists. And we scroll down. I think, yep, went too far. These Scions are Nemesis archetypes and have more stuff, really. It's fine in terms of number of flares and qualities, but for instance, there are no callings on this Scion. or purviews. I'm using the qualities and flare. Well, I'm using the flares to replicate their divine powers. I mean, look at the sign of Divinus Julius. What is all this? This is a lot to keep track of as a stat block. So that's what I mean by saying it's underpowered. It doesn't have access to the to boons really, and Nax, technically speaking, Hogzilla. Yeah. So, or is it? There we go. Nemesis also. Architects from it, so that sounds a bit more pre-visitation in a sense. Sort of. It's still a post-visitation Scion because there are known Scion in the fake fiction that I've created for this introductory chronicle. But because I want you to be able to have this chronicle, have Scion Origin, and that's all you need. I'm limiting myself to what's in Origin, and Origin obviously only has qualities, flares, and Nax to really use. Also, as I said in the Google Drive document and the design note, it's the focus isn't this character. The focus, I don't want to steal the player character's thunder. So yeah, sure, it's got more qualities than I would ordinarily give to a story guide character. That's the word I was looking for. It's got 4 instead of 3. But that's the only kind of concession I'm making with this stat block, template, what have you. Also, it has lower health, defense, and initiative than the ones in Scion Hero. But again, I want you to have everything you need in either Scion Origin or this. This isn't a quick start. This does require the rulebook. Mostly because this is going up as community content, not as an official publication. Because I'm not. This isn't official Onyx Path stuff. I'm a fan. They've simply given me the platform. And I'm hoping that I'm helping spread the good word. And to answer questions about game systems I know stuff about. Alas, I missed the Kickstarter for CBN, so I'm just waiting for that to actually come out. Anyway. So, I hope that answers your question. It's a post-visitation Scion built in pre-visitation rule mechanic, built with pre-visitation kind of building blocks, in a way. Also, because I haven't mentioned it yet, anything in double asterisks is a design note. It will go either in a sidebar next to the relevant entry. I'm going to try and include some design ideas behind each of these stat blocks anyway. But anything that doesn't go next to its, parent, I guess, will be in an appendix at the end. What are my thoughts on Caitiff? I think Caitiff are fine. Clanless it's valid. I myself favor when I get to play or run. I find it easier to run for clans, certainly. But I wouldn't say no to Caitiff characters. I also think if you're playing Caitiff, it helps if you have a familiarity with the system, just in terms of building characters and whatnot. Sorry, there's that stupid tickly cough again. Okay. That's that. Gang members are all bolded, so I point you towards that thing. Let's do this. I think that works as a lowercase, but I'm not entirely sure. That's that. So I'm just doing a bit of tidy up while I'm thinking about how to approach the next section. I am so sorry for crimes against uppercase letters. Right, so I think the... Actually, I need to note somewhere. Probably down here if I haven't already done it. Basics of Science Combat System and the initiative roster. There we go. Gang members are more interested in self-defense and destroying property than harming people, but do not care about collateral damage. Treat each area of the vessel as from field using the field guidelines below and change the focus once the field has had 3 rounds, once all the antagonists are taken out, once all the player characters present in the scene are taken out. There we go. I'm a huge fan of the 3 rolls and out system for most kind of, not, incidental, meaningless stuff, but it helps prevent excessive extended dice rolling. In my experience, I've used it for car chases. I've used it for combat. Extended dice rolling obviously doesn't usually happen in social stuff, but if you do use social combat mechanics, then it'll work in there as well perfectly fine. It's just a nice way of getting kind of the random chance of opposed dice rolling, as opposed to rolling versus a static number, but also not dragging things on. I would say don't make the mistake I made and reset the counter when something kind of technically restarts the scene. That did drag on a little bit, but there we go. Everyone had a fun car chase out of it, so I don't care. Okay, so that's the introduction scene, I think, done. Unless anyone can think of anything to add. So we've got a bit of SGC prep, telling you what it is. A bit of flavor to read out or to paraphrase or to use for your inspiration. Basically outline of what's at the festival. Example games and things for people to interact with whilst at the festival. Rumors are whatever you want them to be. This is my way of saying this is a good place to put story seeds. Then we've got the festival becomes an action scene, an action adventure scene with combat and an initiative roster, and then the different fields. I've got the stat blocks and the toxic stuff. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So finally, after I say after 9.5, it's actually 8.5, because never forget those 2 hours I spent just waxing lyrical about GM tips. That was possibly my single greatest achievement to date. I'm so happy that people actually enjoyed it. Anyway, it's more like 8.5. But after 8.5 streams, I've finally finished the introduction of this chronicle. Oh boy, it feels good. Of course, I followed up my 2 hours of waxing lyrical with 2 streams of making a character sheet, so there we go. Anyway, I need to go to heading 1? Yes, heading 1. Scene 2. Interrogation's kind of the wrong word. The investigation begins. What word processing program do I use? By habit, I use Word. However, this isn't Word, this is Google Docs, because due to the way in which Microsoft Word processes visual output, video capturing software can't pick it up. It bypasses all the video card stuff. I might be able to capture it now through. Now I've figured out how to capture a display itself. I could do display capture, I think, but that I'm not sure how doing display capture would mess around all with all of the other windows and stuff I'm capturing. Because obviously I've got the huge text window in the middle, which is fine. That'll be the display capture. But I've got a window capture going for the chat. I've got the webcam going for my webcam. I've got the window capture going for the PDF when I bring that up, and I've got the text here. That would be fine because that's just all in Streamlabs, but it might be a bit weird. So this is just Google Drive. It also means I can click between tabs really easily, and I don't have to remember to save anything because it auto saves. But it also means like I've got my file directory here. So, it's not perfect, but it works. Favorite part of VTM, your parts play monsters more hot than people sometimes. I'm a huge fan of the slow descent into madness that is the humanity system. I like. Well, actually, one, I'm just a huge fan of Malkavians. I have mental health problems myself, and I love playing games that allow me to explore them in a structured, relatively safe, comfortable environment. But two, just the decline of the characters over time is good, and the hunger mechanic works brilliantly. Tend to stress about more than most other sides, raise the sword again. Yeah, I can see the appeal of the Sabbat. Don't get me wrong, but I've never really engaged with any large scale Sabbat playing. So everything around here is like whenever I run VTM stuff. Well, one, because the core book, which is behind me, doesn't have Sabbat stuff in it. It's also just analog camera stuff. But I am writing my own source book for my own games, which completely replaces Sabbat and Camarilla and Anarch factions anyway in response to the Second Inquisition. So Sabbat politics are more interesting. But yeah, so I got when I get around to writing more of that, I've got rid of those factions, and I think it's gonna go well. It's just gonna be part of writing the metafiction for the Chronicles I run. Okay, I think an SGC prompt here to explain the scene probably be good. Yes. Also, I like how flexible the system is in a way. Like the hunger system is, as an example. I mean, sure, yeah, you roll when you wake up, and you roll when you use certain disciplines, but it's also a built-in mechanic to increase tension. So if something happens that's pretty dramatic, or like, even though obviously vampires are going to take like half damage from most attacks, they take an obscene amount of damage in one go. Maybe their hunger increases as their body tries to deal with that. Or rather than having a frenzy check, they get hungrier in response. Like the mind shuts down, the beast takes over like for that split second. But I like playing with mechanics to build tension in games. Cameron evidence a bit predictable after all. Yes, it is. To the point where the players I was running through were like, yes, we think this person sounds like a Sabbat. And I went, does he? Because I've completely hoodwinked you by introducing new factions. I mean, yeah, they're based on the original three factions, but there's more interplay and they're a bit broader and stuff. So anyway, that's not the purpose of this stream. I should not promote my other material apart from my own stream and my Twitter on this stream. It is a terrible habit. Although it's something, if I look into, I could, I guess, throw up on a Patreon kind of thing. Anyway, Storyteller's Vault, maybe. Who knows? The investigation begins. SGC, eyes only. Right, so... This scene is intended to follow from the previous. You know what? Let's have 2 scenes. Let's have scene 2. The interrogation. And whoops. Scene 3. Let's say for now the hunt. This scene and the one following can happen in any order. In any order, but are intended to follow from the festival. Are intended to follow the festival scene. And then go up here. Scene 1. The festival. So then this becomes normal text. This scene is designed to function as a group focused. Nope. Introduction. All of that. And brackets, so it should not be used if the individual introductory scenes were used. I've seen the comment in the chat. I will. Oh, it's just Silicon Path. Never mind. Whoops. Is if the individual introductory scenes were played. I think I'm going to be a bit on the nose with this. Many paths. I came fan doing Britain by night soon. Look forward to try tape London from night. Any thoughts? London from the second exhibition. Any thoughts on how? Well, obviously, as a Malkavian, you have access to the Cobweb. More information on that's in Chicago by night. I do know that much. So, depending on advantages taken, you are more significantly better at communicating with other clan members. If you are kind of wanting to rely on geographical stereotypes, obviously a lot of the northern towns in Britain are more kind of independent, free thinking, less bound by tradition and structure. So maybe start a resistance movement in the north, get everyone on board, and then move south to retake London. Alternatively, go for the bureaucratic jugular, demonstrate that the Second Inquisition are more of a threat to kind society than they are to kindred society, or more of a threat than kindred society to the mortal institutions. Off the top of my head, those are 2 ways you could foment revolution and kind of remove the SI. Obviously, then you'd also probably have to do raids on SI bases to get rid of records, track down informants and agents, plainclothes members, that kind of thing. Maybe try work on turning faction members, because the SI isn't, completely unified. Everyone has a price. It's the World of Darkness, of course, everyone has a price. Doesn't have to be monetary, it could be bribing, blackmail, bribery, blackmail, extortion. I'd say kind of focus on an aspect of Kindred Society that you want to explore. So you like sometimes being more of a monster than a person. So, for example, that one, you could focus on embracing that side of things and maybe finding more monstrous members of Kindred Society to work as allies for the players who get stuff done like tangentially, to as a demonstration of this way works. It might not be the most humane way, but it works. To get them kind of started on that, and then that to me kind of suggests more of a not, I guess, more overt than fomenting resistance, and that you find targets of opportunity, targets of importance, take them out, like assassinations, raids on Second Inquisition bases where it looks like maybe something else has done it. Try and pin the blame on Lycans, on Lupines, sorry. That kind of thing, perhaps. Or if they kind of start on the we're monsters, embrace it kind of road. But obviously the vampire's all about both the beast and your humanity, so maybe start them on that road, and then have some situation come up where they have to behave more as people to resolve a problem. So have some more of the bureaucratic stuff, going and investigating Second Inquisition, finding pressure points for that kind of side of things, and then maybe wrap it all up with having done that a high level of research, just go crazy killing everything, if that's kind of what you want to explore. Maybe I hope that helped give you some ideas. Something else to consider is that the Second Inquisition are obviously going to have a lot of tools to capture and kill Kindred. So maybe they get some. Maybe they decide to use it on their own kind. Maybe they decide to alter it to work against humans in a more effective manner. Also, what's to say that the Second Inquisition doesn't have some rather sketchy allies in the shadows who may be Lupines, who may be Kindred, who may be Fae? Just going off the top of my head of the examples in the core book. Did any of that spark the creativity? I hope it was at least somewhat useful. SGC eyes only. Each scene is intended to serve as an introduction to a single character, and as such presents a suggested location, a handful of suggested location important to said character. I have seen the comment. I will address it in a moment. That's an event important to said character, handful of suggested list. Yeah. That should be fine. So, 5 ways to use success in sound games. I'm a huge fan of custom stunts. Just why I've got Yeet into space. Also, that's a crossover. That's like a Easter egg to one of the other content creation content creators streams on this channel. Also, just the one that everyone seems to ignore is the threshold of the degree of success. Like, go crazy. Have your character who has 2 successes left over not go for the extra damage, not go for the pushing or the shoving. Just have them look cool doing it and make connections. Sorry, I get a bit passionate about things like that. A lot of people just seem to forget that aspect of the system. And, of systems that have that kind of thing built in. Scene 1A. I think I'm going to have to do this. I don't like using numerals because they should be typed out, but 1A, 1B, and then for consistency, I have to do this. Right, so it should not be used if the individual instructions were played. I guess you could use it, to be fair. It's not used, of course, for PCs since they tend to burn the pool for more effects. Yes, but as I said, I mean, I will fully, hands up, admit that I'm not a POW gamer. I build characters for story. I don't build optimized characters. I build characters that are fun to play as and to play with, for other people at the table. Power gaming is for other people. I'm in it for the story and for the role playing. So yes, kind of that attitude of I won't spend the extra effects, but I'll look cool doing it. Probably not for everyone. Maybe incentivize it in some way. Maybe have kind of have people present in the scene that they don't necessarily know the importance of. They do something cool. They decide not to opt for the high degree of success. Find out later that those people were watching and could have helped them with something else if they had looked cool doing it. It was 4 successes is like YouTube viral video thing. Hang on, I might as well just leave it there. I have seen the other question. I will address that momentarily. Where did that degree of success table go? Why am I so bad at navigating a bookmark PDF? Gosh darn. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good way of explaining it. Right. Role-playing game rulebooks are terribly organized, universally. How could I forget such a thing? Is it rolling the dice? Level of complication, level of enhancement. Nope, it is not in rolling the dice. Oh, why are role-playing books so bad? I thought there was a table of... leftover success. Here we go. 4+, divine, you'll be talked about for decades. 3, your feats leave others in awe. 2, you performed admirably. Gods of Aret or Luck pat themselves on the back. 1, competent. 0, you succeeded, no more, no less. Yeah, if they are mechanically focused, explaining it as building legend to grow following, that works well enough. Could also say that it might open doors that would otherwise be closed, give them more contacts. Let's see. Depending on the action, also, maybe they can spend, say, 2 successes to move 1 on the virtue track. Or to... you don't want to give them more momentum. There's enough ways to create momentum in the game. I guess maybe if you're happy doing this kind of thing, it removes 1 from the tension pool because they've performed so well that the scene itself kind of not the scene. Fate is kind of taking notice of them. That kind of thing. Team is awesome yours. Well, what's the map in the background? This map is Thedas. I'm a huge Dragon Age fan, and I found it at a con a few years ago and had to have it. And thank you for saying the team is awesome, and I am as well. Alas, I do not have a team. I'm just part of the Onyx Path team, but I'll take the compliment and I'll pass it on to the Onyx Path folks via our streaming Discord. But yes, that's Thedas. There's this, I think, an architecture student who just sidelines as like a fancy cartographer, I think, or an engineering student or something. I can't remember anymore. As I say, it's been a few years. I've lost the business card. Just trying to think of any other way you could spend successes. That isn't, already built into the system. My favorite way to see in Threshold was the Sign of Apollo rip off the movie Princess Mononoke. Shibari Archer snatched an arrow to there and shot the dude with an arrow zero buying source. That's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good. Obviously, on the fly stunts like that work as well. In fact, that's the first thing it says in the rulebook. What else? Obviously, there's Twists of Fate if you've used a path to enhance the roll. For those of you who don't know, so threshold successes are the extra successes after you've succeeded and paid off complications. Twist of Fate, if you use your path to enhance a roll, the Twist of Fate lets you kind of define something in the scene. You can add or remove one detail per success. But you can't contravene what's already happened, what's already been established. So it's largely the stunts or paying for degree of success. But yeah, removing tension, just wowing people. I mean, if it's obviously it depends on the context of the action as well. It depends on the context of what the dice were being rolled for. But I would be tempted to say maybe 2 successes generates a piece of expendable cover nearby, that was always there but has just never been paid attention to, or 2 successes allows you to do something minor on your next turn reflexively. Who knows? Maybe 3 successes for a reflexive action, or if you haven't yet moved, those extra successes give you a bit of extra speed, or something like that. Maybe, who knows? Maybe spend all of the threshold successes and get 1 E on your next defense roll till the start of your next turn. That kind of thing. Obviously, without context, it's difficult, and the system is great in that it's so flexible, but it sucks in that it's so flexible because it's hard to provide concrete ideas. But I hope, it sort of answered your question in a way. Also, the consolation stuff. Obviously, the chance meeting would be covered by important people being there, but Fateful Encounter, it obviously depending on context again, and unlooked for advantage would work. Anyway, just got to get these notes in order. So it should not be used if the individual introductory scenes were played, but it can be enjoyed regardless. Could give the characters boost when people in them because of their skills. Yes, exactly, things like that. So that would probably be an enhancement on a future role, on like a future social role, or perhaps even if there are enough threshold successes, they can attempt to roll what's failed previously in the scene that you said at the time you couldn't attempt again. Or there was something else on the tip of my tongue. that was it. So I see collateral damage. Maybe it helps to alleviate some collateral damage in the scene based on what else is going on. But it can be enjoyed regardless. Is that clear enough? The scene is designed to function as a group-focused introduction, so it should not be used as this if the individual introductory scenes were played, but it can be enjoyed regardless. Is that clear enough? Like, to say that you can run the scene anyway, but can be enjoyed regardless by removing the action subscene at the end. There we go. Because the introductory scenes have the gang members involved. So then you go to the festival where nothing happens. They just enjoy a festival. And then the next scene is... Well, the interrogation scene is a police call for witnesses to this gang. I think that works. Cool. I'm glad it's clear enough. I worry. Also, I keep scrolling like an idiot when I can just click. They're intended to follow the festival scene. I don't think that's needed at all. Well, I guess if you're using this along with other material or with your own material, then you could use this technically anywhere. There we go. The police have put out a call for witnesses to the gang attacks to come forwards. So I'm hoping that the players will feel like their characters would come forwards. If not, I might have like a rider at the end of the scene saying what information they can discover without going. This is for Scion. Second edition specifically. This will be a product that you can purchase to play through your very self. I would offer to run it for the channel, but I don't know if I have the time and stuff, alas. Police have put out a call for witnesses to the gang attacks to come forwards. Scion, if you're unfamiliar, you play as Scions, the children of gods, in a world where the divine is real. And by the divine, I mean, I'll just read off the list from the book. The pantheons of the Aesir, so Scandinavian gods. The Manitou, Native American gods. Theoi, Greek. Netja, or Theoi is Greco-Roman. Netja, the Egyptian gods. The Kami, the Japanese. Tuatha Dé Danann, the gods of Ireland. The Orisha, the Yoruban pantheon. African, but Africa is a very broad, very large country. They're the pantheon of a people from Africa. That's the best way of phrasing it. The Dewa, so the Indian pantheon. The Shen, that's the Chinese celestial bureaucracy. And the Teotl, the Mesoamerican gods, like Tlaloc and Quetzalcoatl people. And you play the child of one of those. You can play other things. You can play what are called legendary creatures. So, for example, Origin, which is the core book that you absolutely 100% need. You can play Kitsune, Satyr, Therinthropes, Wolf Warriors, or Kusith, which are, I believe, dogs or cats. Dogs. Yes, talking dogs. Oh, that's how you prompt that silicon path. Okay, that's good to know. I really should have expected that, and I don't know why I didn't. But that's what the game is for. That's a brief overview of the game, and you go around battling titans who are trying to break free of their prisons, essentially, because they're not evil, they just don't care what they do. They have their own kind of urges and drives to fulfill that quite often will result in devastation. Hope that answered the question at least. Is it on Kickstarter? I mean, it was. It's available to purchase from DriveThruRPG and I believe brick and mortar stores. It's at the bottom of the Monday meeting notes. There's even a neat bundle right now. Yeah, Studio 2 Publishing publishes the physical copies of Scion. There is also, if you have a phone, you can get a phone PDF of the core book, which I haven't got the one for Scion, but I've got the one for... I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of this bundle. I think I've got everything in it, but I'll check. I don't have... Yeah, I've got the rule books. Oh, it comes with the phone version. Sweet. The phone PDFs are great. I have the one for Pugmire because that was a promotional one that was free. And the phone PDFs are incredible. Everything's bookmarked, but it's all aspect ratioed for phones rather than normal PDFs. So sure, it's got like a page count of 800 or whatever, but you can actually read it on a phone easily. I highly recommend checking out the phone PDFs. And I hope more books get that treatment. Anyway, I was trying to find that link, and Plastic Age Plays got there first. Currently, there are 2 books out of the core range. There are 2 more coming to Kickstarter at some point. Who knows when, but Demigod and God to complete the arc. I'm so excited for those. And this this chronicle that I'm writing will continue to Hero, which is the next tier. And then when Demigod comes out, I'll do a Demigod one. And when God comes out, I'll do that one. And Dragon. I know less about Dragon, I'll be honest. Is that supposed to be one of the core books? Because I know there's the companion as well, which I'm excited about for Yazata stuff. I think that was the right name. The right Pantheon. You think so? The trouble was I did a group Kickstarter with a friend and all of that stuff went through him. Demigod's in development, which is pretty hype. That's a Neil question. I'm just reading through the Monday notes. Scion Dragon, manuscript approval stage. Post-approval, the LARP rules, which were a stretch goal. Titanomachy, also a stretch. That's also in post-approval development, sorry. There should be a companion with extra Pantheons in. I did check ages ago. God, where is it? Scion Companion, Mistress of the World, post-editing development. I don't have to ask Neil, it's on the website. Also, I've just noticed that Hunter Tui is in post-editing development, so get hyped for Hunter Tui. Oh, I wish I had more money. There's so many things, so many Onyx Path books I need to get, like Cult of the Blood Gods and Chicago by Night. Deviant when that comes out, because that was a blast. Anyway, on that note, you got to bounce. Enjoy the rest of the show. My show is going for 5 minutes, but I hope that your drive goes without incident and that you enjoy the con. I was going to say something. Yeah, if you are ever curious about other Onyx Path games, they're all upon the Onyx Path website, obviously, onyxpath.com. And then /category/worlds should take you to a master list, I believe. But I could be wrong about that. Again, enjoy the con. I hope it goes well and that there's plenty of Scarred Lands interest. I'm very interested in the player's guide myself. I was thinking I might do something for Scarred Lands after I wrap up this Scion Chronicle stuff. Anyway, where you'll obviously see the whole list of Onyx Path games. Right. Finish up the story guide notes here, and then probably wrap up. Police have put out a call for witnesses to the gang attacks to come forward. We get the books because I like the feel of them, and how books age over plus. Yes. I only check the PDFs during these streams because it's just more convenient. I have the books on the bookshelf behind me. That's what I use when I run games and stuff. For gang to witnesses to gang attacks to come forwards. Any PC who does come forward will find themselves at the wrong end of an argument. This scene can lead into the hunt. Kind of copy this over here. Open any order intended for the gang attacks. The gang have made the local news and have started threatening potential witnesses. Not age over time. Yeah, I understood. Not actual witnesses, but potential witnesses. PCs may have heard something as the gang fled the festival, which can lead them to more information. And then this scene can lead into the interrogation. And there we go. Which takes me to 4 o'clock nicely. This show, will be back in 2 weeks' time, assuming everything goes well. On the 21st of January, same time. I believe it's 9 a.m. EST. It's 2 p.m. GMT, which is my time zone. If you liked it, as I say, all of the older episodes are up on my YouTube channel, Comrade Bubbles, in a playlist. Last week's episode will be up later today. This week's episode will take a week to reach YouTube because subscribers to the Honest Path channel get a week's exclusivity to the videos on demand. So if you do want to rewatch this, or maybe see the beginning of the stream if you missed the beginning and you aren't a subscriber, but for example you have an Amazon Prime account which you have not yet linked to Twitch, because you can do that to get a free Twitch Prime account, or if you have the Twitch Prime account and have not yet used your Twitch Prime subscription for this month, you can use it on this channel to get access to any of our videos produced over the last week before anyone else can see them. I don't have to share the link for Cults of the Blood God, but I will read the copy for anyone who is interested. Where did that go? So there are 9 days left, as Clanbane pointed out. It's at $120,146 it's over 400% funded, which is great. Where was it? Where was that paragraph I read out? I can't remember what I read. Cults of the Blood God is a new style sourcebook for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition that introduces the pernicious horror of twisted belief. It has player and storytelling material. It has a breakdown about the rise of esoteric beliefs, the religions of the kindred religions, history, structure, and ambitions of the Hecata, as well as a chapter dedicated to playing a vampire among them, and ceremonies for their death-defying discipline Oblivion, and guidance how to use ecclesiastical horror and cults, faith-based story hooks, full chronicle, and then lore sheets, backgrounds, and predator types, and all of that good vampire content to sink your fangs into. Any news about Kickstarters, about product development updates, about Twitch channel stuff, about interviews, podcasts, convention appearances, any the fact there's a dice rolling app. All of that stuff can be found on the weekly Monday meeting notes update. There we go. Highly recommend checking it out, even if you're only interested in one game line. There's usually, even if it's just keeping an eye on the progress. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Monday meeting notes, it has a weekly update on project progression and what stages of production the various projects are in. Also, you get sweet art every week. It's not free, obviously, but you can see the art from books and things, and it's always worth checking out for news. Highly recommend joining the Discord if you're not already on the Onyx Path Discord. There's always people there to answer rules questions. There's looking for group channels, whatever. Follow the Twitch channel if you aren't already following the Twitch channel to know when we go live. And if you have any lingering questions, I can be found at Comrade Bubbles on Twitter. Comrade Bubbles on Twitch, where I just stream gameplay, video game stuff. But I'm always happy to talk about role-playing games, can answer questions about role-playing games and GM tips and storytelling generally, and how to use mechanics in unintended ways or build upon them and things like that. I'm always happy to answer those kind of questions and have those kinds of discussions. And I believe that's it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the material. And I will be back in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to swap over to the pre-roll. But for YouTube, goodbye. Hopefully you can catch this live sometime.